G'day students and welcome back to the final lesson of this week for our Year 10 Health. This lesson is really me starting to prepare you for the SAC that will take place this time next week. So we actually only have 4 Year 10 Health lessons left for the term before you can have your 2 weeks break, and then as I said last time that you saw me on YouTube, that you might be able to come back into school for some of your VCE based subjects. So right now, what I'd like to do is just sort of tell you about what you should do between now and next Thursday, where you'll be sitting the SAC in a 1 period 75-minute SAC. The SAC is simply going to be there to give you an overall score, to show you what your achievement level has been throughout this term. Now, don't forget that you've already received your S from completing the 3 outcome tasks to a satisfactory standard. So there's no stress, no pressure. This is simply to see how well have you performed, how well have you retained the information that we've given you. Okay, now I'm going to go through this pretty slowly just to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing today, Monday, and Wednesday. Zoom will be available, and I think that you really should take up the option today, Monday, and Wednesday at some stage to drop into the Zoom, say hello, and just ask me any personal questions about this content that really you're worried or wondering about before the SAC. So, if we have a look over here, as I do at the start of all of our lessons, we've finished the 3 outcome tasks, we've gone through our dispositions, we've done everything so far, and we're up to the SAC. And I've already showed you the rubric a little while back, but here's where we're at here, is the SAC week on that final lesson. So we've got lesson 24, 25, and 26 to get ourselves ready for that SAC. Now, the number one thing is if for some reason any of those 3 outcome tasks were incomplete or required a redemption, get them finished. Get your S for this subject before moving into that SAC so that there is no pressure and it's just an indication as to what you can retain and how well you're going. So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a couple of things. Firstly, over in week 9 on our dashboard for Year 10 Health Resources, we've actually got 3 documents. 2 of them are about looking for Alibrandi, and one of them is some revision questions. The reason why there's this double breakdown is because the SAC itself has 2 sections to it. There is a general questions section, which is about things like the dimensions of health and the lifespan and human development and youth issues, which is what we've been studying and what we've been going through for the last 9 weeks. So all of that content has some general questions about time stamping in, what age groups each of the prenatal, infant, etc. phases might be. Also, what are the 4 development areas with physical, social, emotional, and intellectual, and giving some examples of each. What are the different dimensions of health, the 5 different dimensions of health that we did right back in week 1 and week 2. All of those aspects have their own general questions, but there's also some case study specific questions, and those case study specific questions come from the movie Looking for Alibrandi. And so I think it's really good as well. You might be starting to feel quite burnt out, and one of the lessons, either it be today or Monday, I would recommend not leaving it till Wednesday next week, but one of those 3 lessons, sit back, watch a movie, and take a couple of notes, because there are going to be some specific questions about a character in that movie named Josie, and you need to know about that character and all the things that go on for them. So, if you go onto these documents and you download them, what you'll notice is that you get this page here, which is just jot down in dot point form what some key events of the movie for Josie were. Then think about what impact Josie's relationships had on the health and well-being. Think about the socio-cultural factors that affect Josie, and if you had any other notes to write down for Josie. I'd recommend just having this open and just either handwriting in or dot pointing as you watch the video. Where do you get the video? I have put the link. It's on ClickView here, so you can watch through the movie. You can watch it at night. You can watch it during our class. You can skip sections, but be very careful to make sure you don't skip anything that's important about the socio-cultural factors or anything. But if you're really, really stuck, there's a document here that you can download which actually goes through what some questions might be about Josie on the actual SAC itself to prepare yourself to how best answer those questions. So that's a specific guide for you. Don't forget though, there are some generalized questions as I mentioned. So one of the other documents is SAC 1 revision questions. And this is quite a big extensive 7-page document, and it's a really good one to actually be able to send through to me if you want me to have a read through any specific questions to see how you're going so far and whether you are explaining these answers or simply identifying examples or whether you are discussing your answers, etc. So there's heaps of work that you can choose to do. It's all written in the lesson plan as well. Watch the movie Looking for Alibarandi. Write down some notes about Josie to prepare you for that. Read through those documents about the what you need to know, especially about that video, and then answering through your practice questions. That all doesn't have to be done today. You have today's class Thursday. You have next week's Monday and Wednesday classes to have all of that stuff done, and that will prepare you best for the SAC that's going to take place this time next week in Thursday's class, our last lesson for the term. Good luck. Make use of the Zoom link that I email you. Come and ask me any specific questions that you need. I'm here to help.